Okay, so Scott here, and I'm back, and right now we're going to talk about ball position and how high to tee clubs up, because eventually you're going to hit everything off of a tee because all holes are different lengths. You're not always going to use the driver for the tee shot. A lot of times you're going to use an iron, depending on how far you hit them, sand wedge, whatever. So I'm just going to show you where to play the ball and then how high to tee things up. First, I'm not going to tee anything up, and then second, I will tee it up. If I have a sand wedge, then I'm going to play the ball pretty much in the middle of my stance. I might play it just a hair towards my back foot or my right foot, but for the most part, I'm going to play a sand wedge right in the middle of my stance, okay? And then when an iron, up to about a 5, a 6 iron, I'm going to play it pretty much the same. I might play it just a hair forward of middle towards my left foot, but I'm going to play a 7 iron right about in the middle of my stance, okay? And if I'm hitting off the grass and I have a hybrid, and again, if you're not sure what all these clubs are, go to the free section and look at the video of what's in a set of clubs, and it'll explain all these clubs for you. A hybrid, I'm going to play just a little bit more forward of middle. If this is middle, then here's where I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it just a little bit forward of middle. As the clubs get longer, it takes longer to get the club face square. So that's kind of why you start playing everything more forward in your stance, okay? So that would be a hybrid. A fairway wood off the grass, I'm going to play it. If you can see, it's not quite up towards my heel, my front foot, but it's pretty far forward. And it just takes a little bit longer to get the club there. So this is where I'm going to play the ball with a 3-wood. And then a driver is going to be on a tee, and I'll show you that in just a second. But the driver is going to be on the tee, so when the driver is on a tee, I'm trying to catch the driver a little bit on the upswing. So I'm going to play the driver way forward, almost off the heel of my left leg, okay? And no matter what club I have or what club I'm hitting, I'm trying to get my hands even with the ball. And like I said, there's exceptions to all this. This is what I do, and this is what I've taught a lot of people that have learned how to play fairly well. Some people will hold their hands back. I basically try and just keep all my hands even with the ball. So if I have a driver, the club is set down, and my hands are even with the ball. They're not way ahead of it, and they're not way behind it. If I have a hybrid, then the ball is a little bit more in the middle of my stance, but I still have my hands even with the ball. They're not turned this way or that way too far, like forward or back. And if you see what happens when I move my hands forward or back, it changes the face angle. It's no longer squared. Now we're getting open and we're getting closed, okay? So for a straight shot, if I'm trying to hit the ball straight, I just get my hands even with the ball. If I'm hitting an iron or a sand wedge, the ball is going to be pretty much in the middle of my stance. And again, I just have my hands even with the ball. Sand wedge, same thing, even with the ball. That's using the true loft of the club, the true angle that you're trying to get. That's when you see the different lengths. Every club should go 10 or 15 yards farther or less than the next number. But that's really what you're looking for. Okay, so right now we did ball position. The biggest thing you want to know about ball position is that if I make a perfect swing and the ball is in the wrong spot, I'm going to get a bad result. If I have the ball in the right spot and I make a halfway decent swing, it might not go as great as I want it to, but it's still going to go somewhere. So that's what you kind of want to like understand about this, is that when I swing back, like we've talked before, I swing back and I come to hit the ball, I want to catch the ball slightly on the downswing. I don't want to try and scoop it up. So if I play a sand wedge way forward in my stance, then when I swing, I'm going to have a tendency to hit up on the ball with the bottom of the club like this, and it's just going to make it roll along the ground, right? And if I have the ball too far back in my stance, too far towards my back foot, then when I swing, I'm going to come down right on top of the ball. That's going to give you the same effect as a topping it. You're just going to be pounding the ball straight down into the grass. It's going to hop up and then roll on the ground. So you really want to practice ball position. And what I do when I'm playing is I just set up no matter what club it is, and I'll do the two extremes. So I'll do a sand wedge and a driver. I set up with the ball in the middle of my feet, and then I just spread my feet the same way apart. Okay? That way I know the ball's in the middle. If I'm hitting a driver, then I do the same thing. I set up with the ball in the middle of my feet. I put my club down. I just turn this foot out a little bit here and then take a big step back with this one. That way I know that the ball is in the right spot. And the first part to being consistent is, like we said before, you want a consistent grip, consistent posture, and the next thing is very, very consistent ball position. If you can get the ball in the same place every time, then when you start making the same swing every time, then you're going to see consistent results. Okay, so that's ball position. The next thing I'm going to show you is like how high to tee everything up.